Hi and welcome back to my channel, you guys. I'm excited about this week's coaching video because this week I'm going to be talking about 15 moments that tell you it's time to walk away. This actually is not what I was going to talk about this week. However, this article happened to come across my desk and I thought, wow, how powerful is that? So I want to share with you this great article that I read a few days ago. So, number one, when you realize that a relationship is more about convenience than desire, it's time to walk away. And it happens all the time. And so this is why you have got to be in tune with yourself, and you've got to be in tune with that relationship. Ask yourself, am I staying here out of convenience, or is it because I truly love this person? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been down that road. I told you about the guy that I dated for 9 years. I hung in there all that time because of the convenience. Because he had two beautiful, wonderful children that I love spending time with. Those are my babies. They always will be. And so I love them so much that I stayed in this relationship when I should have walked away a long time ago. And it was out of convenience. The desire just wasn't really there anymore. But sometimes you fake it till you make it, right? So, number two. When someone tries to strong arm you into subscribing to his or her beliefs, it's time to go. You can't make me believe what I don't believe, period. And I'm not going to try to make you believe what I believe in. So when it gets to that point where they're trying to make you believe in what they believe, it's time to leave that relationship. It's time to walk away because it's not healthy then. Number three, when you realize you've outgrown stuff and people. So since high school, when you realize you've outgrown stuff and people since high school when you were a different person. So I'm going to use the example of if you have friends in your inner circle that you were good friends with in high school and you feel like you've outgrown them for whatever reason, and it's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It can be a little bit of both. But if you feel like you've outgrown them, then now it's probably a good time to walk away from that relationship because it's no longer a healthy relationship. Because people change. We all change, right? You've got to know when to walk away from people when you realize that you are now a different person, or even if they are a different person than what they used to be. Number four, when you're always angry with someone who stirs up deep issues within you. Been down that road again, you guys. When that person stirs up these anger issues within you, it's time to walk away. Number five, when you want to make impulsive changes, give it a day or two, or even more in some cases, before you do something that you'll regret later. Okay? Number six, when you're about to do something that's necessary but is unfair to someone else with whom your relationship is more important than expressing dissatisfaction in such a way. Okay? So, it's not fair to you if I stay in a relationship with you knowing fully that my heart's not in it. It's not fair to you. I need to walk away so that you can find the true love that you're looking for and I can find it as well. Okay? So be very cautious about that. Number seven, when being in someone's presence puts your anxiety level through the roof, but you spend time with them anyway because you feel obligated. Y'all, let me tell you something. This whole thing was about my life at one point in time where I felt obligated to be with this person. And I just didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Here, it was empty. I felt nothing there. But I felt obligated to. And that's been something that I've struggled with all my life. Staying in relationships because I feel obligated to. You know what I'm saying? Dated a guy one time. He had asthma. He didn't take very good care of himself in terms of making sure he had his inhaler. And so I felt obligated to stay in that relationship, although I knew that I should have moved on. And see, when you start putting your hands on me, that's a whole nother story. I need to move on because if not, you may not move on. So but I stayed because I felt obligated. And I thought, well, if I don't stay, who's going to make sure he's taking using his inhaler, or if he's having issues breathing, that he gets to the doctor to be seen. And then one day you wake up and say, Michelle, that's not your problem. It is not your problem. Number eight, when you realize the people in your life do not respect you or your choices, it's time to let those relationships go. It really is. You know, I respect all the people in my inner circle. I respect them, and I respect the choices that they make. Because ultimately, the choices they make affect them. It doesn't affect me. Now, if it starts to affect me, that's a whole nother story. But when you realize that people in your life do not respect you, that's the key right there. If you got people in your life that don't respect you, honey, cut them off. Cut them off, and I don't even care if they're family. Normally, I would say I do care, but on that, I don't care if they're family or not. If they don't respect you, get rid of them. And if they don't respect your choices, you need to get rid of them anyway. Number 9, if you're in a relationship where you aren't seen as an equal with valid feelings, but rather as someone to be dismissed, it is time for you to go. In a relationship, we're equal. You're not above me, and I'm certainly not behind you. We're equal. So if you don't value my feelings, and you just dismiss what I feel and what I think, it's time for me to roll. Had to make that decision before. Number 10, any relationship in which you realize one or both of you is looking for something long term when your desired lifestyles and future plans are different. Sometimes you're looking for long term and y'all start inching along side by side, but then at some point you start doing this. It's time to let go. Because you can't build a foundation when you have two people going in different directions. Number 11, when you realize you're tempted by the thought of what someone does for you, especially when you know they care a lot about you to let you use them. That's powerful. You know, I've seen this happen to people before where they're with someone and they are truly using that person. But that person loves them so much that they're willing to look past that being used to hang in there and hoping that things will change. No, if somebody's using you, let go. Move on. Just like you met that person, you'll meet somebody else. Number 12, if you realize that you're following any life plan that you were conditioned to believe was right for you by someone else. If you're living your life in such a way that it's not really what you want, but you've heard people telling you over and over and over again, this is what you need to be doing. This is the path you need to be taking. This is where you need to be going. It's time to move on. Because they're thinking for you. That's not what you want for you. And at the end of the day, it's about your happiness. Number 13, when you're more in love with the idea of someone than you are with them. Can't really say I've experienced that, but sometimes it does happen. You're in love with the idea of being with, I'm going to say LeBron James because I just have to love me some LeBron James, but you're in love with the idea of being with him because he's a basketball player. You know he's rich. He's got tons of money, but you're not necessarily in love with the idea of them personally. It's just being with them and what that entails. So be careful about that. Be very, very careful. Check yourself. If you're with someone because the idea of being with them is stronger than your desire to be with them, honey, you need to let that go. And that does happen. And number 14, when you're an option and not a priority. I save that one for last because I just believe in that strongly. When somebody makes you an option and not a priority, honey, it's time to go. It is time to go. Do not ever allow someone to treat you as an option and not a priority. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? You need to walk away. Don't you ever allow anybody else. So if you've allowed that to happen before, and trust me, you know when somebody treats you like an option, not a priority. I felt it in my lifetime. It's like, oh, you know what? Well, I don't wear a watch, but if I had a watch, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. You will not treat me like I'm some option. The devil is a whole lie. I'm not having it. Let me move on because that's a touchy subject for me. So let me give you a quick recap, and I promise I'll let you be. So we talked about the 15 moments that tell you when it's time to walk away. Number 1, I said when you realize that a relationship is more about convenience than desire. If it's convenient for you to be with this person because maybe they have money and they're helping you to keep a lifestyle that you're accustomed to and that desire is not there, honey, cut that off. Number 2, when someone tries to strong arm you into subscribing to his or her beliefs, cut it off. You're not going to make me believe what I don't believe. You're not going to make me what I don't want. Make me want what I don't want. Number 3, when you realize you've outgrown stuff and people, and you have since high school when you were a different person, it's time to cut it off. Number 4, when you're always angry with someone who stirs up deep issues within you, cut it off. That's not healthy. Number 5, when you want to make impulsive changes, give it a day or two or more before you do something you'll regret. Okay. Number 6, when you're about to do something that's necessary but is unfair to someone with whom your relationship is more important than expressing dissatisfaction in such a way. Number 7, when being in someone's presence puts your anxiety level through the roof, but you spend time with them anyway because you feel obligated. Michelle, I've been down that road, and Michelle will never do that again, where I feel obligated to be with you. Honey, you have my anxiety levels up to here. I'm out, because if not, I'm going to end up hurting you, and I don't want to go to jail. Number 8, when you realize the people in your life do not respect you or your choices. That's a big one. That is a big one. When you have people in your life, they don't respect you or your choices, honey, cut it off. Cut it off. And it can be family. I don't care in that instance. Even if it's family, cut them off. Number 9, if you're in a relationship where you aren't seen as an equal with valid feelings, but rather someone to be dismissed, you will not dismiss me. Okay, period. It's time for you to go. Number 10, any relationship in which you realize one or both of you is looking for something long term when your desired lifestyles and future plans are different. Don't stay. Let me put a pin right here real quick. So, my last relationship, I realized early on that we were not really a good fit for one another, because this person told me, I gave him a scenario. I said, what if you're at work and you know how sometimes people come to your neighborhood and say, hey, we're doing roof repairs, and they offer to repair our complete roof for $300. And I don't know anywhere you're going to get a roof done for $300 unless you're just replacing old shingles. But we're talking about a complete overhaul on your roof. And I go, shout, that's a good deal. Of course you can. And you know what he said to me? He said, well, now see, that's not your place. This is exactly how he said it. And I'm like, huh? He said, that's not your place. He said, what you do is you pick up the phone and you call me. And I'll decide whether or not. And I said, you sound like a damn fool. If they're coming through the neighborhood now, they may not be here later on. And they're saying that we can do your roof for $300. Yes, I would jump on. And his thing is, as a woman's place is in the home. A man's place is everything outside of the home. And so if he's in a meeting and I can't reach him, then I am not to tell the people to go ahead and repair the roof. Y'all, inside, I was choking him lifeless, okay? Because I'm thinking, you sound like a fool. That's a good price. Why would I turn that down? But that was his thinking. And I knew right then and there that our lifestyles were different, because I don't believe in that. And I didn't see that growing up. I always saw my mom and dad working together. If it's something my mom thought was a good idea, she rolled with it. You know what I mean? And my dad didn't have a problem with it. Well, if he did, he didn't say anything. Number 11, when you realize you're tempted by the thought of what someone does for you, especially when you know they care a lot about you, to let you use them. Okay, number 12, if you realize that you're following any life plan that you were conditioned to believe was right for you by someone else. The key word is by someone else. If it's not what you believe, move on. Number 13, when you're more in love with the idea of someone than you are with them, definitely move on. You don't want to stay with somebody just because you're in love with the idea of being with them, but you're not really in love with them. Why do it? You're wasting their time and you're wasting yours. Last but not least, number 14, when you're an option and not a priority, I cannot stress that enough. Never allow anybody to make you an option. And that whole calling somebody up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, what you doing? Can I come through? Or you coming through? No, I ain't coming through. Because clearly you just made me an option. You had all day from the time you got home from work, and now you picking up the phone at 11 o'clock talking about come through, or can I come through? The devil is a lie. You're not making me an option. I wasn't a priority, because if I was, you would have called me, and this is hypothetical, but you would have called me when you got off work, or called me while you were at work, or text me while you were at work and say, hey, Shell, what's up? You trying to hang out this evening? Of course. No, don't you dare call me after 10 o'clock. Truth be told, 9 o'clock. But really, after 10 o'clock, if you're not my man, don't you dare pick up that phone calling me talking about what's up. Because you'll get the dial tone real quick, fast, in a hurry. You know that little red circle on your phone? Yeah, I'll hit it, and you'll be talking to nobody. Okay, let me relax. Deep breath. We're good. So that's all I have, you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Be sure to share it if it helped you in any way, especially if you know it can help someone else. Thank you so much for my new subscribers. Thank you to those that continue to support me in all that I do. I love you guys to the moon and back, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, hey, you just have to deal with it. Until next time, I want you to start taking better care of yourself. Start making wiser choices for your relationships. And if any of the things that I talked about you're feeling, it might be time to let go. If you're like me, I never like letting go. I've always wanted guys to break up with me because I never wanted to be the bad guy and break up with them. But sometimes I just didn't get it in the past, okay? But, just read through those things and start making some changes, because I'd be willing to bet you have some relationships, some, be it friendships, families, significant others, or something that you might need to walk away from if any of those things apply to you. Until next time, take care.